Episode 627. The ever-knowledgeable Yi Shu now wore an expression of genuine surprise. Shen Guo turned her head and caught the whole thing. She quickly looked back at Ye Shu's screen, only to see a close-up of the desperado's face. The desperado had been shoved in, but he couldn't make it through the dog hole, clearly because Ansheng Shuying had been lying there, creating an obstruction. Falling flower palm's knockback force was insufficient against the boss to begin with, and with this obstruction, it immediately brought the boss to a halt. But this left the desperado half stuck in place. Shen Guo watched Ye Shu's screen as the desolate gunslinger twisted in a strange, jerky motion. Then a rapid series of gunshots rang out.
What is he doing?
Shen Guo was stunned, while Ye Shu wore a look caught between laughter and tears.
He was trying to stand up, right? Got himself stuck in the hole. Does this boss even know how to crawl through a hole?
You don't know that?
How would I know?
Yi Shu was at a loss. He knew some details about the desperado, but when it came to things like this dog hole's existence, he was completely in the dark.
They figured out how to trap the boss in here to kill it, so it must be pretty dumb, right?
Maybe.
Is this guy going to keep stalling like this?
Chen Guo had barely finished speaking when another series of gunshots rang out.
Hey, he's still getting up.
Yi Shu was at a loss. The desperado's wild barrage while getting up was basically the same as a boss's shockwave when it rises to defend itself. Now he was stuck in the hole, unable to turn over, but he could still shoot. The problem was, his arm couldn't move in the hole either, so he just fired straight down at his own feet.
Someone's running this way.
Just then, the two players who had been intently peering through the cracks in the wall nervously sent word.
No choice. Log off.
Dark fragrance and sparse shadow spoke.
Don't panic. Wait here.
Yi Shu spoke as he moved, sending Lord Grimm diving low to unleash a falling flower palm. The blast sent the desperado flying back out.
Ha! What are you doing?
Dark fragrance and shadowy figure cried out, which was bound to expose them.
Wait for me here.
The moment Yi Shu finished speaking, the others saw Lord Grimm zip out through that hole in a flash. The group stood frozen for a long moment before it finally dawned on them. That was just a sharpshooter's special skill, a sliding tackle. After failing to slip into the dog hole 9 times in a row, the Wild West gunslinger finally managed it by sheer accident. Such an outcome truly made Dawnfrost feel that heaven was playing tricks on her. With a guild already on the scene, pulling that trick again was pretty pointless. This was just muscle memory from dealing with those Wild Bunch players earlier, an accidental reflex really. That Battle Mage player, almost out of spite, stepped up and slammed out a palm strike. No one expected that this one petulant blow would be the one the desperado accurately sent straight into the dog hole. Though it didn't look like it slid in very deep, no one gave it much thought. After all, it was just an unconscious move. The Battle Mage player wasn't putting in much effort either, probably hadn't paid close attention to where they were hitting. So while the angle was spot on, the knockback distance fell short of optimal, stopping halfway through the slide. The desperado's twin pistols spat fire snakes from the cave mouth, sending the players outside scrambling in panic. This bizarre scene, with Ye Shu stuck in the cave, left everyone just as astonished as he was. Just as everyone was too stunned to think, the desperado rose for a second shot and promptly slid right back out of the hole. Even if this boss had the intelligence to crawl out of its hole, there's no way it should be pulling off moves that smooth.
Someone's inside.
Who goes there?
A few voices immediately rang out, and someone was already heading over to check. With a whoosh, someone really did slide out of the hole. He sprang to his feet with practiced ease and shouted,
Hey everyone, don't panic. It's me.
Talking like that, it's me, is pretty arrogant, as if everyone should know who he is. But no one felt that way about the character standing before them. One look at the ID above his head and everyone froze. It was him, Lord Grimm, the recently infamous figure. Word on the street is, this guy might even be the legendary Yi Qiu himself. But whether that's true or not, the debate's only been going for 2 days. As for Bluebrook Guild's Dawn Ice and Yato Dynasty's Meng Tianqian, their minds were a tangled mess of emotions. Finally crossing paths with Ye Chu in the heavenly domain, both of them couldn't help but share that same thought. Dawn Ice had once gone to the 10th server to run dungeons with Chun Yi Lao and several other Bluebrook Guild experts, trying to hold down the fort for their guild there. That put him in direct competition with Ye Shu. In the end, they were utterly crushed. All those dungeon records they'd fought tooth and nail to set, they didn't stand a chance against his. The several top experts returned to Heavenly Domain, looking thoroughly disgraced. On some level, the few of them were even a little grateful to Rao Anchuiyang. He had stolen the spotlight in that competition, becoming the guild's main focus and covering up the embarrassment of the guild leader personally leading elites to reinforce them, only to return in disgrace. It was after that incident that they quickly learned Lord Grimm was actually Yi Chu, the legendary pro player. This information was even something Blue River had gotten someone to admit directly during a conversation. Now, the media's full of all sorts of guesses. This theory, that theory. But for these few, it was really hard to start doubting again. Psychologically speaking, if this person really was the great god Ye Chu, they would feel a bit better about it. From that point on, they also understood that while they had managed to avoid the competition in the 10th server, for a figure like Ye Chu to enter the heavenly domain was hardly a difficult feat. Especially after the Battle of Thousand Wave Lake, Dawn Frost didn't participate in that fight, but Chun Yi Lao was there, commanding the operation. Given her standing in the guild, she knew the details inside and out. From that point on, resistance against Lord Grimm in the 10th server was effectively crushed. They were just making preparations in the heavenly domain, waiting for the big shot to arrive. Back then, they analyzed that this unspecialized could only come at level 50. At level 50, they'd have a 20-level advantage. Plus, they had so many people in heavenly domain, taking down Lord Grimm would be no pressure at all. When Lord Grimm actually showed up, Chun Yi Lao ordered them to hold back and observe. Indeed, Chun Yi Lao was always a man of few words. When the enemy hadn't arrived, he said there was no pressure. When they did arrive, he said to observe. However, Shuguang Xuanbing, upon hearing this instruction, surprisingly felt no disdain. Instead, a sense of relief washed over them. A 20-level advantage and superior numbers made taking down a level 50 character, even an unspecialized one, a sure thing. That logic was sound. That was exactly what Dawn Frost thought at the time. But Lord Grimm had actually come, and Spring Melody said to wait and see. Suddenly, Dawn Ice felt that this was not wrong either. One was to fight, the other was to retreat first. Two completely contradictory plans, yet Shugang Xuanbing genuinely felt neither was wrong. Both made perfect sense. He hadn't really dealt with Lord Grimm much, unlike Blue River, who'd been through the ringer with him all the way through the 10th server. That defeat in the dungeon left a deep shadow in Dawn Frost's heart. Only their team knew how much effort they had put into chasing that dungeon record. The dungeon was small, but for these people, it was already their limit. To have your limit shattered so effortlessly by someone else, the crushing sense of failure in that moment, is something others can hardly understand.